Hello, Terminale students, and welcome. Today, we're going to get you ready for your Anglais Monde Contemporain Baccalaureate exam by tackling a really crucial skill: how to analyze different societal models. We'll kick off by defining a key concept. Then, we'll jump into a real-world document to see how this works in practice. And finally, I'm going to show you exactly how to build that perfect analytical paragraph that examiners love to see.
So let's start with a big question, one that's really at the heart of so many debates in the English-speaking world. Why is it that countries like the UK, the US, and France have such fundamentally different ways of doing things, like providing healthcare or setting a minimum wage? This question is going to be our guide today.
Now, this whole exploration ties directly into our AMC curriculum. We're working within Theme 3, Relation au Monde, and focusing on the axis regard sur le monde. What that really means for us today is practicing the skill of regard croisé, or crossed perspectives. It's all about understanding that there isn't just one way of seeing the world, but many, each shaped by unique cultures and histories.
Okay, so to get our hands dirty with this, we're not going to use a textbook. No, we're going to work with an authentic document, a 2019 report from IRES, which is the French Institute for Economic and Social Research. This is exactly the kind of source you could get on exam day.
Right, let's properly define this key skill. Regards croisé. It's so much more than just making a list of differences. It's about digging deeper. It's about analyzing why those differences exist in the first place and what they tell us about a country's core values and priorities. Honestly, getting this right is your ticket to the top marks.
Now you'll notice our source document is in French, but don't let that throw you. A massive skill for the baccalaureate is being able to pull out specific, valuable information from a French source and then, and this is the key part, analyze it with precision in English. And that's exactly what we're going to practice right now.
All right, let's dive into the heart of this report. The IRIS document actually gives us two fantastic examples that really shine a light on these different social models. It's the perfect opportunity to put our regards croisés into practice.
First up, the report points us directly to this, a comparison between France and the United States on healthcare coverage. And look, it specifically mentions the role of trade unions and employers. This is a classic case study in two completely different social philosophies.
So here's the crucial contrast. You've got the French model on one side, which is all about social protection and this idea of collective responsibility through the state. And on the other side, you've got the US model, which is much more market-based. There, private insurance, which is often tied to your job, is king. See how just this one comparison starts to reveal two totally different ideas about what the state should do for its citizens?
And it doesn't stop there. The IRES report gives us another powerful comparison to work with. This time, it's between France and two other major European players, including a key country in the Anglophone world, the United Kingdom. And the topic? The minimum wage.
What I love about this table is how clearly it shows three completely different paths. You have France, with its famous SMIC, a state-mandated minimum wage that's been around for ages. Then there's the UK, with its national living wage, where the big debate is often about how it affects businesses. And Germany's federal minimum wage is a much newer thing. Looking at these different approaches side by side is incredibly revealing.
Okay, so we've pulled out some really interesting facts about these different national models. But for the baccalaureate, that's only half the battle. The really crucial question is, how do you turn these observations into a high-scoring killer analysis? Well, that's what we're going to break down right now.
To do this, we're going to use a simple but super powerful three-step method. You see it here. State your idea, back it up with an example from the text, and then give your explanation. Just remember IEE. It is a foolproof way to build a strong, clear, analytical paragraph. Let's walk through it together.
Step 1 is your idea. This is your main argument, your thesis for the paragraph. It needs to be sharp, clear, and analytical. Remember, you're not just stating a fact, you're making a claim about what the facts actually mean.
Step 2, you have to back it up. You provide a specific example, or even better, a direct quote from the document to prove your idea. This is how you show the examiner that you've really engaged with the source material and you're not just making things up.
And finally, step 3, and this is the most important part, your explanation. This is where you connect the dots. You explain why your example proves your idea. This is where you show off your analytical skills, where you interpret the evidence. This is where you score the big points, both in writing and in your oral exam.
Okay, let's zoom back out for a second. This report was written in 2019, which might seem like a while ago, but the ideas inside are more relevant today than ever. Let's connect the dots to the world we're living in right now.
And you know what? The report itself gives us a perfect bridge. It mentions platform workers. Think about your Uber drivers or Deliveroo couriers. This brings up a huge question for today. Which of these models, the market-based one or the social protection one, is better for workers in this new gig economy? It's a massive, ongoing debate.
The comparisons we've been talking about are right at the center of today's biggest arguments. Think about healthcare access during a pandemic, the role of unions when everyone's working online, even really big ideas like a universal basic income. Understanding these models is the key to understanding what's happening in the news every single day. So let's wrap this up. It's time to bring everything together and synthesize the main takeaways from our deep dive into this document. And there we have it. We've answered our big question from the start. Nations choose such different paths because their core beliefs about the relationship between the individual, the market, and the state are fundamentally different. These policies, they're not just technical details, they're powerful reflections of a country's entire history, its culture, and its values. And to leave you with one final thought, something that connects what we've done today to another key part of your AMC program. Think about the theme, expression and construction of self. How do you think growing up in a society built on social solidarity might shape who you are, compared to growing up in one built on market forces and individual responsibility? That's a great question to chew on. Thanks for your attention, everyone.